One thing we can be thankful about for the Undead is that musicians like Rob Zombie seem to be able to keep going forever, and thanks to that zombie state, or at least I'm accrediting that to the man's longevity in music, Rob's chaotically creative brain was able to focus just enough while not on the road to create his 7th studio album, The Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy. For the majority of this video, I'll be referring to this album as The Lunar Injection for the sake of brevity. This will save time not saying the full title here, so I can spend that spare time reading off most of the track titles. When you see what some of those are, you will understand what I mean. Fair warning, I might lose it reading some of these because they are ridiculous. The Lunar Injection, running 17 tracks, is more or less what you would expect from Rob Zombie at this point. This is his first album in almost 5 years since 2016's The Electric Warlock Acid Witch Satanic Orgy Celebration Dispenser, which was a fun album, though the track times were extremely short, leading to an album barely over 30 minutes of music. In the case of The Lunar Injection, on paper, you're supposed to be getting a bit more this time around. Whether it's taking a break from music and touring to make movies, or taking a break from filmmaking to make music, Rob Zombie has always been a busy man with several creative outlets. With The Lunar Injection, Rob Zombie is not holding back his own praise and support for his and his band's creation. In an interview with Kerrang, Rob said, "The Lunar Injection is the best record we've ever made. We've worked on it for a long time. The songs are very catchy, but the structures are way more complex than they've been in the past. It's kind of all over the place. I think the fans are going to love it." Considering how much Rob Zombie has been a part of everything he's created with John 5, Piggy D, Gingerfish, that really is calling your shot and selling your album in a big way. I love seeing Rob Zombie live. All these men are wildly talented, but I admit I never know what to expect on an album from them, as it sometimes is just short interludes or total lunacy in audio form. The first single, The Triumph of King Freak, a crypt of preservation and superstition, is going for a crank up the radio feel with shouting King Freak. There is a steady, heavy tone with a decent groove. Later in the song, the bridge gets wild with John 5 showing off a lick, which he does several times in the album. The track is 4 minutes long and feels huge with the effects. It's crazy, but the fun kind of crazy. The follow-up, The Eternal Struggles of the Howling Man, these song titles, features a great distortion effect, and some of the hooks work well, from Knievel kicked it, now he's dead, to the McConaughey-inspired All Right, All Right, All Right. It's a lot of wild nonsense sang along to great grooves, but there's so much going on, it makes you wonder just how wild the writing sessions was to plan all this out. Asking what in the world was going on during the writing session is a fair question after you hear the album, because that Kool-Aid in the title is absolutely tainted with something, and everyone that had a hand in this album took a sip. No one could focus on one thing for too long. I'm not going to cover every interlude and the tracks under 60 seconds, but for the rest of the album, I'm not really sure how to describe a lot of it. The Ballad of Sleazy Rider continues the distortion and fuzz in the guitar. The faded vocal effect works in the verses, and this has a big, booming chorus. John 5 is killer with its guitar work, and when the song drops to just the faded vocals to the clap-along, it definitely kills the momentum. It does get built back up quick enough, but still kind of a bummer on that. Shadow of the Cemetery Man continues the party-style groove with some picked-up percussion, more spoken word segments, isolated riffs, and nonsense lyrics. The groove is thick, and I love the basic guitar combo, but the song is, at the end of the day, a word salad with crazy guitars. 18th Century Cannibals, Excitable Morlocks, and a one-way ticket on the Ghost Train, these song names, fades in with an old-timey intro and some Wild West guitar hooks. It's definitely a gimmicky song, but it's something that you can tap your toe until Rob shouts out to get aboard the Ghost Train. It goes by fast, like most of the songs on the album, but the novelty wears off quick with this one. The much-talked Metamorphosis is a 2-minute acoustic instrumental ballad, which is really nice and not what I was expecting at all. This is a good palate cleanser after so many zombie shenanigans, and is just the right length. The Satanic Rites of Blackula is just over 2 minutes, and while there is some speed and attitude in this one, and it all sounds great, it's so short. This is reminiscent of the Electric Warlock, where you start to get into a song and it's over way too soon, to the point where it doesn't even feel worth it. Shake Your These Song Titles has a crazy voice mod, and this song is really just built on chanting the song title. The chorus is good, but the verses are rough and then add a bunch of bad sound effects. I'd say it could work as a concert anthem, but the actual sounds and instruments don't pick up until after a solid minute in a 3-minute track. It's awkward, like most of the interludes. Boom 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 is a slower paced song that sounds like it's welcoming aliens with the synth work, but it's not about aliens at all. It's a bit of a slog to get through, and only near the end does it feel like anything is going to happen, but the song about a witch doesn't exactly add much to the album. It's a mindless stoner track for sure, and not much else. Get Loose picks the energy back up, which is desperately needed at this point, and I don't know if it would work as a single or live performance, but it's stronger than other songs here. There is an out-of-place Egyptian Mediterranean flair used as a connector, but the song has high points, including a nice little closer. Finally, Crow Killer Blues starts much heavier than a majority of the album, and while it has Rob cutting loose a bit more about being the Crow Killer, and also features some nice keyboards, the song is another odd track with bad transitions, then a fade out that does nothing. Everything is played well here in this entire album, but nothing sticks. Rob Zombie was right when he says it's all over the place. I love Rob Zombie as a performer, and it's crushing when you have such talented musicians who know how to have fun and sell this album big, and most of the songs are either completely forgettable or not worth hearing in the first place. Add a ton of interlude tracks to pad out the runtime, as well as songs that aren't going to stand out well compared to other past killer hits. It makes me wonder, again, what exactly was in that Kool-Aid? Overall, the Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy is an album filled with short music sequences, quick solos, amazing grooves, and nothing that stands out long term. In many ways, it's a waste of such good talent and time due to so much filler and wasted repetitive chants that offer nothing. When everyone was begging for a hard rock blast, what we got were interludes, samples, and nonsense. What did you think of the Lunar Injection? Leave a comment and let everyone know. Big thanks to my patrons and a special thanks to Brandon Barenfeld, Chris Doman, McKenna White, and Dom Noble. You can have and say in upcoming videos and see videos early by supporting Rocked on Patreon. Please click the link in the video description for more info on supporting the channel. Please subscribe and ring the bell to get notified in upcoming videos. You can check out my concert photography on Instagram, and you can keep up to date with Rocked on Facebook and Twitter.